Welcome, racing fans, to the opening round of the 2015 Nebula Formula C Championship from Brands Hatch. My name is Justin, and I'm here with Miko.
Hey guys.
And today we are going to be commentating for you, as I said, on this opening round here at Brands Hatch. 9 corners, famous British circuits, of course, very well known by all the drivers, I'm sure, with some fast flowing corners, numerous overtaking locations, nice long straights as well. Should provide a lot of action and plenty of on-track incidents, I'm sure. As we see the lineup here, Cyclogenesis taking pole position with Shino just behind him for Cusco Racing, starting from the front row of the grid as well. I'm sure they're both happy about that. Dr. DK in third on the second row. He's followed by Insomnia for Intel Motorsports in the 4th position. In 5th position, we've got Spartan of Monster Energy Racing. He's followed by Senna-esque 97 for Team Kicker in 6th position. Into the bottom half now of the grid, it's Jeb of Razor Motorsport, and he is followed by Nort of Intel Motorsport in that 8th place position. In 9th, it is Zazman 7 for Cusco Racing and Red Eye of Raven West. And then bringing up the rear of the grid, unfortunately, is going to be D2G of Raven West, but of course, as we mentioned, plenty of overtaking locations, so I'm sure there's going to be plenty of changes of position here as we are on the grid waiting for the lights to come on now, and we've got them now ready to go. The engine's revving and they're away. We're on board with Insomnia of the Intel Motorsports, the leading Intel Motorsports car here. The very short run into Paddock Hill Bend, very short indeed, not a lot that you can do there, but Shino has already lost out a position to Dr. DK, and they're going 3 wide now, actually, through Druids there, and it does look like Shino has lost out on another position, down into 4th place now, as Insomnia relegates him out of the podium positions.
Yeah, good start from Insomnia, and as we're running aboard with Shino now, let's see if we get some overtaking action to the latter part of the lap here.
Yeah, of course, slipstream is going to be very important as far as getting by. Dr. DK currently in the lead. He's defending that inside line, but no, he is not able to hold off Cyclogenesis, who does take that 1st place position back. Cyclogenesis with a little bit of oversteer there, but it doesn't look like it hurt him too much as they're coming towards the end of the lap now. As we mentioned, very high-speed corners here. We've got a side-by-side battle here between Cyclogenesis and Dr. DK. Dr. DK running very wide there at the exit of Sterling's, and it does look like that is going to drop him down into 3rd now, actually, behind Insomnia. So Insomnia up into 2nd, and it does look like Cyclogenesis up ahead has some issues at the final corner there at Clark Curve. We're going to go ahead and get a replay here, and that's where they were going 3 wide. This is a little bit further back. We missed all of this action going on in the back. D2G, again, he was starting from the back of the grid, so of course he's doing his best to try and make up some time. It does look like he's got some pretty heavy damage, though, as he zooms out. Actually, yeah, we can see he is actually missing an entire wheel off of his car, so certainly he's not going to be in contention for the lead. That much is for sure, but picking up at the start of lap 2 here now, and Nort up into the 5th position just behind Red Eye. It does look like Insomnia into the lead at the moment. I'm not sure how long that's going to last, though. As you can see, 1st position, Insomnia is just ahead up the road. Really not much between these guys, but it does look like actually Nort's going to lose out there to Zazman, and down into 6th position now as we move on board with Dr. DK.
Yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of lag going on with Cyclogenesis, so let's hope they don't have any contact because of that lag.
It does look like Insomnia is breaking away a little bit, actually, possibly due to the battling of these cars behind him. As you mentioned, Cyclogenesis, though, clearly having some sort of connection issues. And wow, actually, Dr. DK having to possibly run a little defensive there. That was very interesting. Moving a little bit further back down now. Actually, we're on board with Shino, who, again, started from right near the front of the grid. And unfortunately, he is down into 9th there. It looked like he was going to take 9th off of Senna-esque, but no. Senna-esque comes right back at him and takes that position straight back. So Shino into 10th. The only car behind him, of course, was the one that lost the wheel. So he's certainly struggling a little bit at the moment, but we're just coming to the end of the 2nd lap. Still 8 laps remaining in this 10-lap race, so he's got plenty to do. And it does look like there's been an incident. A couple cars off the circuit turned around as well, and all of a sudden he finds himself in 7th position. Senna-esque as well, gaining numerous positions there as well, as he was able to avoid all of that that carnage, and hopefully we'll get a replay of what exactly happened there, because it does look like numerous cars were involved. And here we go. Talk us through this, Mikko.
Yeah, because the Cycle Genesis is getting on the gravel on the outside of the track, and then just mayhem happens after him. I don't know if there was contact between here, because and that is a big lag issue, I suppose, between Cycle Genesis and Dr. DK.
Yeah, it looked like Cyclogenesis rejoining the track combined with that lag. I don't necessarily think he rejoined the track in an unsafe manner, because he was at the outside of the entrance of that Paddock Hill bend. You know, he wasn't on the racing line, so that was definitely a strange one for sure. But as we mentioned, that is going to be beneficial for some of the other racers, moving up a few positions. But yeah, that is tough to see for sure. Nort, though, actually he's got a car on the inside. That's Red Eye, and he's going to take that position. Nort as well, taking out one of those braking markers. Does look like he's going to really lose some time to those guys as well. Zazman now up into second position, but as mentioned before, Insomnia really starting to break away in this race now. With all the battling that's going on for this second place position, Insomnia is just kind of focused and putting in those fast, consistent lap times, and it's really helping him out here as we come to the end of yet another lap. Now on lap 4, 7 laps remaining in this 10-lap race. And Zazman going through that very high speed Paddock Hill bend, very famous corner, as is Druids, the second corner on the circuit. On board with Chino, and it does look like he's actually going to gain a position on Senna S there, running very close behind him for quite a while there, but it does look like Senna S made a mistake coming out of Paddock Hill bend on the run down towards Druids bend, and that's going to be another position for Chino. So back up into his into a sixth place position. So slowly but surely he is gaining time and catching these guys. There are a couple of cars ahead of him. That is Spartan just ahead of him, in fact, in that 5th place position. And of course, if those two cars start battling, that's going to be great news for Chino.
Yeah, and if you remember, there was a little bit of contact in turn 8, that's Sterling Bend that's coming up pretty soon here. I think he was part of a little bit of contact there, but I have to say, hats off to Zazman. I think he started from the last row of the grid. I believe he was the last car in the grid, and he's now up to second already. Yep,
really climbing that ladder. I'm not sure, without a mistake from Insomnia, I think he might be as high as he can possibly get, but it's still lots to play for. More than half the race still remaining here, as we're watching this battle actually for one of the lower points paying positions between Jeb and Senna S. Moving on board now, though, with our leader Insomnia. You can see the two cars behind him of Red Eye and Zazman. In fact, Red Eye just got by Zazman, so that second place battle continues in the background there. And but Insomnia again really driving quite well, and just keeping it on the black stuff, not making really any mistakes, as you can see him going through the very, very high-speed corner there of Hawthorne's Bend into Westfield Bend, and really doing a great job of keeping control of this Formula C car is Insomnia of the Intel Motorsport team. As we're coming to the end of the 5th lap here, and actually we're going to get a replay between Jeb and Senna S. So this was the battle we were talking about before there. Jeb getting a little bit too much on the inside curb at Surtees, and it does look like that's going to give him some oversteer and lose him the position to Senna S. We're moving back up on board with Chino. Haven't seen Chino in a little bit. It does look like he has closed down Spartan. Obviously, that gap much, much smaller than it was last time, and with much, much better exit speed coming out of Sheen Curve, he's able to take that 5th place position off of Spartan. So Chino up into 5th place, into the top half of the points paying positions. I'm sure he's going to be very happy about that, and still got half the race to go now as we're coming to the end of lap 5. Nort is up ahead. He's got a pretty healthy gap. Cyclogenesis, who obviously we haven't seen since that horrible incident at Paddock Hill Bend not too long ago, he is running in 7th at the moment, excuse me, with Spartan ahead, and yeah, he's still in that battle actually up ahead. So Cyclogenesis not out of the race just yet, but certainly it's been a tough day for him.
Yeah, certainly, and let's see if I think Chino was some of the favorites for this this race. If you remember, they are some of the veterans from the WTCC series, and making his way after that first or second lap incident, making his way back up to the podium positions, and let's see if he can do it. I think he has North in his sights next.
Yep. And Cyclogenesis hunting down Spartan. It was quite a big gap the last time we saw a split time between the two cars. As we mentioned, Spartan is in the middle of a battle. Yeah, 12.6 seconds, I believe that said. It was over 12 seconds is the gap to Spartan up ahead for Cyclogenesis here. So he's really got to get a move on if he wants to finish ahead or higher than 7th position. He does have a huge gap to Senna S behind, though, even bigger than the 12-second gap to Spartan up ahead. This is where Jeb is at on the track, actually, as he's coming to the end of lap 6 and starting lap 7 now, and he's got Senna S ahead of him rather than behind him, and not too far ahead of him, actually. You can see him just Senna S just going into Druids there up ahead, and really not too far. So these two certainly could begin battling very shortly here. It does look like, oh wow, then there's an issue for Senna S at the exit of the Graham Hill Bend, and that does look like it's going to be an easy move for Senna S as long as he can avoid that inside curve at Surtees, and he does, and he's going to move himself up into that 8th place position and grab an extra couple of points off of Senna S.
We have to remember that the lap here is really short. It's only about 1 minute 15 seconds, so with really just 3 laps remaining, we just might have a big battle on our hands for the last couple of points here.
Yeah, Senna S is all over the gearbox of Jeb, actually, and Jeb dipping some wheels off the circuit as well there, and really just inviting Senna S. But oh, you could see Senna S in the background there in that dirty air, just really struggling through Clark Curve as they come to the end of the lap, though. Less than 3 laps remaining now. Currently on board with Cyclogenesis again, and that's Spartan up ahead, who's had a huge issue coming out of Druids Bend, and that's going to be a free position for Cyclogenesis, who does move himself back up into 6th position now. Really not much time remaining, and he's got Shino up ahead, who, as we've mentioned, is very quick, excuse me. Shino up the road is the next car. It's going to be a very tough target for Cyclogenesis to catch. I'm hoping that we can get a split time here very shortly. I do apologize. I did notice that the 12-second gap. Yeah, that's to the leader. So actually, it's about 6 seconds to the next car for Cyclogenesis. So if he can really put in some really fast times, he's going to have to be about 2 seconds a lap faster, though. And oh, that is a big issue for Shino there, and that's going to be great news for Cyclogenesis, actually, as we can see him in the rear view there, coming up behind, and he moves to the right-hand side, and he's now up into 5th position. I'm sure he's going to be very happy about that. Quite a recovery drive we're seeing from Cyclogenesis here.
Yeah, Shino must be kicking himself for that mistake with only 2 laps remaining. He must be just thinking about what could have been in this race as he just makes his way through Druids here.
Yeah, and certainly it's not over just yet. Cyclogenesis is within reach for him, as we're getting a replay here now at the end of lap 8 for Jeb, actually. Slams that front nose into the barrier at the inside wall of Clark Curve. Which is certainly not going to help him, and I believe that's put him down into last position on the penultimate lap of this race. And here we are, actually. Insomnia, our race leader, is coming under attack. Lots of attack from Red Eye, who says thank you very much after Insomnia dips a couple of wheels off the circuit, and Red Eye is the new race leader as we're coming to the end of this penultimate lap now. Really just maybe a couple of minutes or even less remaining in this race. You can see just how hard Insomnia is pushing there. Shino as well, pushing very hard, very close behind Cyclogenesis here. I would say these guys are out of the running for the lead of the race, but certainly they're going to be battling hard for this 5th place position. Shino with a much better run through Sheen Curve and Sterling's, and he is all over the back of Cyclogenesis as they're coming to the final corner to start the final lap of this race. Cyclogenesis with some more connection issues, though. Hopefully that's not going to come into play at the end of this race. We really want to see these guys battle it out rather than have some sort of issue and just give the position up. But Cyclogenesis hanging in there as we start the final lap of this race into Druid's Bend now. Really not much time remaining for Shino here, as you can tell he's pushing so hard as he goes so deep into Druids there.
Yeah, I think he just overshot his braking mark and tried to do a little bit of a V shape of that corner and just trying to pressurize Cyclogenesis into making a mistake here.
It's not a bad plan. Certainly there's been plenty of mistakes in this race so far, and with more pressure than ever, Cyclogenesis is certainly going to be feeling it from behind, with Shino right up behind him. I mean, he is very close, losing a little bit of time there actually. It does look like Red Eye is going to hang on to the lead of this race though, ahead of Insomnia, who led this race for over 80% of the 10-lap race, but it does look like Red Eye is going to be our winner with Insomnia in second place. Cyclogenesis still hanging on to that fifth place position, and it looks like he's been gifted that position now, or given at least a little bit of a break, as Shino gets a little bit of a warning there, drops off the back of him. So it does look like Cyclogenesis is going to be in a comfortable fifth place position. Shino in sixth, Spartan in seventh, Jeb way down in ninth, as he as well, I would assume, pushing very hard there was Jeb, and it looks like he's inspecting his car for a little bit of damage, and he may have some damage indeed. Oh yeah, he's missing half of his front wing, so that's certainly not going to help, and that's probably why he's getting mad. Oh no, this is the incident that caused that to happen actually, but mercifully for him, the race is over as he finishes in that 9th place position. Out of 11 though, it should be mentioned, of course, D2G and Dr. DK with the DNFs down there in the back. Red Eye does win by about 1 second to Insomnia, another 5 seconds back to Zazman, and he was actually just 6/10 ahead of Nort in the 4th place position, which we kind of missed a little bit of that battling. But of course the championship standings look very similar to the race results, with Red Eye in first ahead of Insomnia, Zazman, Nort, Cyclogenesis, Shino, Spartan, Senna as Jeb with a couple of points, and Dr. DK and D2G both failing to score points. So only 9 of the drivers scoring points here at Brands Hatch for the opening round of this Nebula FC Drivers Championship, or excuse me, of the Nebula FC Championship. So as I mentioned though, first round, so still lots to play for here, and I'm sure all these guys, especially Dr. DK, very quick driver, is going to be looking to score some heavy points in the next round. So here's our Constructors Championship. Intel Motorsports sitting on 30 points. They've got a 5-point lead over Raven West Motorsport, followed by Cusco Racing, just a couple of points back behind them. Monster Energy currently sitting on 16 points, 7 points behind Cusco. Team Kicker picking up 4 points. They're a little bit ways back. They're 12 points behind Monster, and Razor Motorsport picking up 2 points thanks to Jeb's 9th place finish. So I'm sure he's going to be happy about that. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks to Miko for joining me.
Thank you very much.
And thanks, of course, to the Nebula Racing League and Shino for doing the editing. And we will see you guys next time.